Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Jimmy with Sharp Action Investments. So I did say that I would come up with a video reviewing this fight. However, Sunday was coming up and a lot of baseball to handicap and a lot of things going on. So, this video is coming out here on Monday. This fight between Canelo and Chavez, there are many ways it could have gone. At least the way we were predicting that it could go. Chavez, as we stated, I completely fell off the Chavez bandwagon after the weigh-in when it appeared very clear to me that he was completely drained from making the weight. But I don't think anybody out there ever predicted that Chavez Jr. would try to outbox Canelo Alvarez. I mean, this is the most ridiculous game plan you could possibly come up with. The only other time in my life I've seen a fighter employ as disastrous of a game plan in a fight was Arturo Gatti against Floyd Mayweather, when Buddy McGirt tried to have Arturo box Floyd. But at least Arturo was boxing against far lesser opponents in previous fights. Guys like Jesse James Lehan outmatched Leonard Doreen. He was slowly trying to implement boxing into his style in professional fights. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has never been a boxer. He has never tried boxing in the ring. He's a straight-ahead fighter who takes two to land one, who throws haymakers, who is able to absorb a lot of punishment in fights. And the way he beats people, the way he fights is coming forward, putting pressure, using his size, using his strength. Now, clearly, even under the best circumstances, he was going to be a dog in this fight. However, I figured him to be a live dog. Certainly, I'll go over one last time at the weigh-in. It dramatically changed my opinion after seeing the way he physically looked and seeing, more importantly, the way Canelo looked. But still, I still had no doubt he would be coming ahead. Even drained, he'd be coming ahead. He'd be putting pressure. He'd be digging to the body. But Nacho Berenstein, who I was happy he took in his corner because he certainly would be an improvement on previous trainers he's had and get him in better shape, maybe fix some boxing, put some boxing skill into his repertoire where he could go 30 seconds on certain rounds, controlling distance and mixing it up, being able to put a new look out there instead of just coming straight ahead. But still, 90% of the time, this guy's got to go straight ahead. He's got to use his size and his supposed strength on Canelo. But instead, we saw something that I just can't even get over. That Chavez Jr. would actually go along with this fight plan to think I'm going to be able to outbox Canelo Alvarez. Chavez Sr., who was in training camp the entire time, would agree with this? I mean, I don't understand it. I don't get it. There is no chance that Chavez Jr. would even be remotely competitive by trying to outbox Canelo. And the only reason why he didn't get knocked out is because Canelo didn't rip him to the body in the early parts of the fight. He landed, I believe, in the 5th or 6th round, a shot to Chavez Jr.'s body, which really hurt him. But most of his attack was upstairs. If he spent more time, if Alvarez spent more time downstairs, he would have clearly knocked out or TKO'd Chavez Jr. There really is nothing more to be said about this fight. you had an underdog that was weight drained, that even as being weight drained, I still thought could have had a chance if he would have pressured as opposed to backing up in boxing. So I clearly think that the game plan was terrible. I don't think Chavez was in anywhere near as good a shape as we thought he was based on reports from his training camp. And it was just an absolutely terrible performance on the side of Chavez Jr., both in preparation for this fight plan was disastrous, and it just, you could tell at the end of round one, the way he shook his head coming back to the corner, that he clearly knew this thing we were working on, it's not going to work. Now, as far as Canelo, I mean, he looked excellent. This is one of the better performances I've seen of him, and I'm not. And of course, he had basically a dead man in front of him, but still, he was. He's a fighter that I just keep seeing getting better. And of course, thankfully, we're gonna have the Triple G Canelo fight, which is just gonna be awesome, and gonna have plenty of videos on that. The action on that fight is gonna be, oh, it's just gonna be a great fight. A lot of great fights coming up. We have Errol Spence going into Sheffield to take on Kell Brook. Andre Ward's got a big fight coming up. I mean, boxing, there are some really, really good fights. And unfortunately, I thought this could have been one of them, but it turned out to be a major, major disappointment. So, on to baseball, on to basketball, football, man. I'm telling you, I can't wait for that. That's coming up soon. And give us a call, 702-955-9090.